The Pittsburgh Steelers have made many roster changes within the last few days, and that includes signing 3 players, releasing 2 others, placing 1 on injury reserve, and trading for 1 safety. But first, before I get more into who those players are and their introduction to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right into it. So, the big move the Pittsburgh Steelers have made is trading for safety Kyle Duggar from the New England Patriots. And just to kind of give you a breakdown of how that trade took place, while the Patriots are sending a 7th round pick to Pittsburgh alongside Kyle Duggar, and the Steelers are sending a 6th round pick back to the Patriots. But this includes the Patriots and Duggar agreeing to waive all of the last remaining years left on his contract, so he is a free agent after the season, and then also it includes the Patriots basically paying all of his salary. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are just getting Kyle Duggar and giving up a 6th round draft pick and also getting back a 7th round draft pick. So basically for free. So I'll get more into how this trade is going to go and how good it will be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let me move on to the other people the Pittsburgh Steelers have made roster changes with. And that includes signing safety Derek Forrest to the practice squad. And the reason why I'm bringing this one up is because he actually has a good chance of being active on game day for the Pittsburgh Steelers and to actually have a part playing in this defense moving forward. And that's because of the injury to Deshaun Elliott at the safety position, but also the bad play at the position from Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark. So the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in a bunch of safeties the other day to compete in a tryout to see who could make this team. They brought in veterans like Von Bell. They also brought in Eddie Jackson. But the person who stood out to them and who they signed was Forrest. So Forrest was originally drafted by the Washington Commanders in the 5th round of the 2021 NFL Draft and the 163rd overall pick. He appeared in 40 games for the Commanders, starting 17, recording 126 tackles, 78 of them being solo, 9 pass defense, 4 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 fumble recovery. He also added 11 special teams tackles as well. So he's a player who also spent time with the Indianapolis Colts as well. So you look at what he was able to do in his first few years, that's the stats that he put up. So he was really good. But then the last 3 years, he's been dealing with basically injuries and hasn't seen much game action, or at least hasn't been the player given the same chances as he was early on in his career. So maybe with the Pittsburgh Steelers and their safety position being depleted and not playing good, he gets an opportunity. And the fact that he was signed before all those other guys in the tryout means the Steelers saw something in him. And you have to remember, he was also signed before the Pittsburgh Steelers traded for Kyle Duggar. So that may be something there as well. And if Kyle Duggar didn't come available, he would have seen some game action for sure. Anyway, that's who the Steelers have signed and who I believe has a good chance to compete on game day and make an impact. But some other players the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed, which I won't go through a lot, is offensive lineman Jack Driscoll, and also they've signed wide receiver John Rhys Plumlee. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are dealing with some injury on the offensive line. They have Spencer Anderson filling in for Isaac Seumalo at the guard position because Isaac Seumalo is injured. So they're adding another tackle to the practice squad just in case if they have to call maybe someone up from that practice squad to compete on game day because of injuries. But anyway, those are the players the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed and kind of moved around on this team. Now, looking at who they placed on injured reserve, well, that player is Daniel Ekuale. Daniel Ekuale suffered a torn ACL in this past week's game, and he is out for a season. It's a shame because he's one of our best run defenders on the defensive line, and we know the Steelers suck at run defense, so at least he was able to help some. But now with him being injured, other players are going to have to step up, and we're going to see more of guys like Logan Lee and Otamiao and guys like that. So it's a shame Daniel Ikule in his first season with the Steelers is now out for the rest of the season. Also, looking at some other moves the Pittsburgh Steelers are moving around their roster, they are having Corey Trice Jr. return to practice for the first time this season from his hamstring injury. He missed the first 8 weeks of the season, plus some because of training camp with that hamstring injury. He's now getting healthy, participating in full, and maybe now with the Steelers cornerbacks playing like trash, he gets more of a chance because he's healthy and ready to play instead of guys maybe like Darius Slay, who hasn't played so well, and maybe Brady Nichols as well. So Corey Trice is a player to watch out for in the coming weeks to get more snaps on the defense side of the ball. Also, we know Will Howard, he's almost ready to come back from his injury with his hand, but he's not like he's going to see any game action anyway once he's back. So that's a big thing with him returning to practice for the future, but currently, not really. So let's go all the way back now and recap this trade for Kyle Duggar, because this is obviously the biggest roster change the Pittsburgh Steelers have made to their team. And I touched on it briefly, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are basically getting this player for free. And when looking at Kyle Duggar, he's a really solid safety. And the Patriots basically just handed him a 4-year contract not too long ago. But that was before the new head coach in Vrabel took over. So maybe the defense has changed and they brought in other players since then and he just doesn't fit their scheme anymore. So they decided to not play him as much, go with some other guys, and then he was available on the trade market. So when you look at Kyle Duggar, he was only drafted in 2020, so not that long ago. And he was a 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. And through his career, he has started 69 games for the Patriots over the last 6 seasons. His best season came in 2023, when he started all 17 games, logged 109 tackles, including 6 tackles for loss and 1.5 sacks. He also added 7 pass defense, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble that year. So he's a really good player and when he is healthy and when he is playing. And he's been healthy as well, so it's not like he hasn't been. In total, Duggar has 441 career tackles, 24 pass defense, 9 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 25 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 3 defensive touchdowns. So he does make the splash play that Pittsburgh Steelers look for in a defensive player. Now, if you ask New England Patriots fans, and they've responded on social media to this trade, they say they don't care because Kyle Duggar can't guard anyone. Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they obviously need players to guard, but they also need players to be physical. They don't have either one of those. So at least Kyle Duggar could fill in the physical role. The Patriots fans at least say he's physical in that. So he's more of like a box type of player, or players that come up, stop the run. But he also obviously has that splash in him because of his turnovers that he's created over his years. So he stands at 6'1", 220 pounds, and ran a 4.49 second 40-yard dash time. Where do I think he'll fit in? Well, I think he'll fit in more in the strong safety category than the free safety. The Pittsburgh Steelers might go with Jabril Peppers at the free safety position. I'll talk more about that in a different video, about the Steelers trying to pair the former Patriots safety duo together in Pittsburgh. But I believe that Duggar will play the strong safety position because that's where he's kind of been through his career. So he's a player who comes in and he may not play too much in this week's game against the Indianapolis Colts just because of the scheme of things in terms of getting him on track and situated into the Pittsburgh Steelers defense right away. It may take some time, just like it took some time with Jabril Peppers. And he didn't really play his first week, but then played the next weeks. So Kyle Duggar is probably the same thing because this trade just happened today in terms of officially going through. So today was his first practice with the team. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they need to get him available and get up to speed very quickly. And the Steelers basically get him for free. So if things don't work out with Kyle Duggar, he's a free agent after this year. You don't have to pay him all the guaranteed money because the Patriots are paying him that. and in future years you don't have to pay him. So the Pittsburgh Steelers could rework a contract with him as well if he does play well. So the Steelers are at a big advantage in this trade, and they basically win this trade. It's not like they just gave up a 6th-round draft pick and they don't get anything else back. They also get a 7th. So it's basically a swap of late round draft picks. So it's just a chance of taking a hit on a guy who has been good in his career but just hasn't been given the opportunity with the Patriots this season because of a new head coach regime. But the Steelers decided to take that chance, and anything helps the Steelers on the defense side of the ball. Their safety's already been trash this season, so even if Duggar is trash, it's just throwing another person in there and giving them opportunity. So it can't really hurt this team too much. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've decided to make some roster changes and move things around. And that goes with Forrest at the safety position, who should see some snaps, and then also Duggar. So hopefully the secondary is able to get better and get up to speed and just be way better within the next few weeks. And the most important part in the NFL season. They also made some other changes to the roster with injured players and releasing players from the practice squad. But that's the update for your Pittsburgh Steelers this week in terms of their roster, both active and practice. Anyway, that's the end of this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on each one of the Steelers' moves, from the signings to the releasings to the injured players, everything. And what kind of impact do you think Kyle Duggar will make on this team? Do you like the trade? Do you not like the trade? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis reports, everything surrounding this football team, the Steelers, your team. I have you covered all season long with every single move and news and update. So stay tuned, like this video, share the video, and until my next video tomorrow, I'll see you guys all later. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.